Hi guys, I'm Aaron Intende, and today we are going to learn about what are the reasons that they will look at to deny you a visa. Or else you might say something and it's a lie. Sometimes you might want to convince the consular at the interview by lying, which the consular will determine as you not being eligible to be given a visa or to be approved in the diversity visa lottery interview. So, first of all, diversity visa lottery is a program brought about by America every year from October 5th to November 9th. That is the period of applying. Then you go ahead, check your results the next year, around from May to June, around that you check, and onwards. That's the time they start checking the results for diversity visa lottery. So there are rules governing it, and one of the rule is education, experience, and work experience. So by education, I mean high school equivalent, and work experience, I mean 2 years of work experience and beyond in an organization that is recognized by American law. So after being selected and you are given a 2NL, like you have given an appointment at the embassy, first of all, after being selected, you filled in your DS-260 and send it. They processed it. Afterwards, they gave you an interview at the embassy. So you're here with your information and you're in front of the consular being questioned. At this moment, you provided all your necessary documents according to what you have. And here you are. So the questions and the scenario in which you're going to be denied a visa are, I have plenty of them. They're around 11, 12 points, plus others I'll be adding. So the number one scenario is about your sponsor. The moment they will ask you, or they will start asking about your sponsor, is the moment you realize you don't know your sponsor. And that is the impression which you will give to the consular. But if you know about your sponsor, man, you will be free because you have been going through the information which the sponsor provided to you. Which kind of information they will ask? All right, I'll give you examples of questions. They will ask, who is your sponsor? What does he do? Where does he live? What is his address? Does he have children? Is she or is he married? What's your relationship with your sponsor? Is he your brother? Is your family friend? So, according to those questions, if you don't know them, if you're not sure, you better say, I don't know. If you're sure, you reply. Because with the sponsor, first of all, the sponsor has given you a draft of support, tax returns form, his or her ID, the passport, cop biodata. So they have his information. When you give your information to them, they will put it into the system, then they will bring out the sponsor. Whatever he or she is, or he is, it will be in the system. So whatever they're asking you, man, they're not assuming. They're asking you to see if you know your sponsor, and they want to know, is this a lie? You just picked up somebody's information, then you brought it to them. Did the sponsor really give you this information? Is this correct? First of all, does the sponsor qualify to sponsor you? Has he or she ever sponsored some other people in the same year or the previous year? So try to ask. They will ask, has the sponsor ever sponsored somebody else? So they believe the sponsor has to have told you this. So if you don't know, you say, oh, okay, I don't know. If she has, it will be determined, his eligibility to sponsor you will be determined from the amount of money he or she makes. Why am I emphasizing this point of the sponsor? Because some of our embassies in Africa, Kenya in particular, we are asked to provide information of the sponsor. That's why it's number one on my list. Sponsor is a big role. Know the name of the sponsor. Know if he or she has children, all right? When did the sponsor ever come back to your country? If he's a family friend, when did he or she ever met your mom or dad? Where does he live in your country? And how is the relationship between you and him? Family friend, mother's friend? Who connected you? Where does the sponsor live in the US? Are you gonna live with the sponsor? All right. Uh, the other is work experience. Guys, if you are to lie, stay with the lie. Work experience is a very big issue. People lack information about it, but the simple thing I can tell you about work experience is work experience is so important. Why? They need to know what you do. That's why they ask you, what do you do to earn a living? What's your occupation? And they need to see how much money do you earn. If you're a doctor, they know you earn something. If you're a photographer, they know you earn. If you're security, they know the kind of level of income you get. So the other point, for instance, with work experience, for instance, you worked in Iraq, you worked in UAE, you worked in police, in the government, you have documents to prove. Don't just say. Try to go to your boss, get an offer letter, the one they gave you at the start, or get appreciation letter, get training letters, get introduction letter, like your boss is introducing you to them. So the other is about your marriage, about your status, marital status. Marital status, you might think is something small, but you need to provide proof. You will be denied a visa because you're lying about your status. You could say you're married, but you cannot provide proof. You cannot provide marriage certificate. Things like photos, things like your relationship photos, like you dating, you starting your relationship, you together, you with her family or your family, with your spouse family, with your guy's family, with your you together. Like, you need to provide proof like you have been together. And it's not a lie. Just you providing proof, it will show that it's not a lie. So you'll be approved. But if you don't have it, there will be questions. Is this true? They don't care. They don't live with you. Nobody knows you at the embassy. So you have to make them understand your story. Let it be a lie with a story behind it, with proof, backed up by proof. So there is no reason why the consular will fail you when you have provided a lie with proof, which is mere by proof. No, like you go ahead, you married your friend, you want to take her to America, you have a marriage certificate, and you went on to take photos when you're dating, take photos with your spouses, with your friend's family, and she took photos same thing with your family, and you provide that to the consular. However much you married after getting selected, if you provide proof, they will not disqualify you. Being on the other side of law, he will just ask you a simple question like, have you ever been on the other side of law? It means, have you ever been convicted? If yes, and you know, they will find it out, like, you have ever been deported, let me say, you have ever been deported. That is partly being on the other side of law. This can lead you to being denied. For example, you were in another country and you don't have a good conduct certificate or a police letter to back you up. That one will be total disqualification. Or they will put you on administrative uh, process like AP, that is the administrative processing, uh, to wait for you to provide that evidence. But at the end of the day, if you don't have it, they're gonna disqualify you. They're gonna disqualify you. There is certain people right from the interview time, they just disqualify you because you did not provide evidence about the police letter in a country where you have lived for so long, especially those who have lived abroad in a country which is not your mother country, your motherland. If you have lived there beyond 6 months, you need to provide a letter of good conduct. The other thing is education qualification. This is a major point because everyone wants to get into the Dvlottery. But man, if you don't have an education certificate, let me say high school level of education equivalent. If you don't have a high school level of education, American level of education equivalent, you're gonna be disqualified unless it's backed up by work experience. That is 2 years of work experience in an organization that is accepted by the American law. So if you don't have it, I'm sorry to tell you, you might, or you're going to be disqualified. So, for instance, you were, your highest high school level is A level, advanced level for those in Uganda, in Kenya, wherever, in Rwanda, Tanzania, Mozambique, Southern Sudan, Somalia, Ghana, Senegal, Egypt, whatever level of education, which is a high school equivalent to American level, please, you got to have evidence. You don't need to satisfy it unless they ask for it. Most of people you satisfy to be on the better side, like you have a satisfied copy to assure them that it's the right one, but it's good. But however much is not satisfied, just take the original. They accept it. If you have a university, that is a bonus. It doesn't mean those having university they are more qualified. It's just a bonus. If you have a university and you cannot provide proof that that university is legit, you might lead yourself to being disqualified because you lied that you have a university which you did not attend at any certain time in your life. So guys, sorry to tell you this, you are overqualified, but you're gonna be disqualified if you don't have proof. Unless you have your A level and for instance you did not provide the education, the university certificate, degree certificate, but you have your A level and you show them that I have my A level, I just wanna use this. Points are failure to provide information about your beneficiaries, like children, like you don't have a birth certificate to prove that you're the father. That one, they will always put you at AP, administrative processing, until you provide them. But if you take long to provide, it might turn into a denial. At the other point, I would say property, money. If you talk about your money, like for instance, I have money, you talk about properties, for instance, during your interview, be able to provide. If it's a house, provide the necessary house document that proves that you are the owner. Like if you bought it, provide the certificates, provide the land title, provide the house title. Let me call it that way. If it's a car, provide the registration, like it's in your name. Provide the car title. If it's a bank account, provide the bank statement. If you have a business, provide your business permits. If you're self-employed and you have business, yeah, I'm self-employed. This is my business. Do you have anything to provide it to prove it's your business? However much some points will not lead you to being denied, but you will be questioned. What we are trying to avoid is being questioned, like you're at the interview and you're bringing questions in the counselor's mind. That's what we are trying to avoid. If there is any case he needs evidence of something you just talked about, be there to provide it. I have lastly, I have like 3 other points I'm gonna talk about. That is sponsor in America. You show the address and further information, like about your sponsor. If you provide about your sponsor, like I talked about it before, you reach there with a passport which is not the one you included in your DS260. If it's an old passport, please better renew. If it's the old one, then if it's for East Africa, if you have the older passports which are not the East African passports, better get an East African passport before your interview. It doesn't matter, the information is different, like the passport number is different, but you need to get the one which is valid, so they'll be able to put there the visa. They no longer put visa in a passport which is old. They need the one which is up to date. I don't mean like for Uganda there's another passport beside the East African passport. There's another electronic passport they just introduced recently. But if you have the East African passport, it's okay. It's okay. Don't go renew again because there is something new they introduced. Don't, just take the East African passport. Uh, And about the passport and your certificates, your education certificate, the information they should have your names. This is the evidence that they belong to you. If, for instance, a certain certificate of education has 3 names, your birth certificate has 2 names, and the passport has 3 names, man, this is not corresponding. You better get an affidavit of support to support your 3 names. You get my point. An affidavit of support is a legal document from the lawyer proving that you are the same person using the 3 names, the same person using the 2 names on those particular documents. And there's a stamp, those stamps which are allowed by law. So the lawyer knows what to do. Better believe in the lawyer. Get a good lawyer. Don't just go around getting people who pretend that they are lawyers, yet they are not. Get a good lawyer who has experience in these things. So when he or she provides the document, they are not questioned. So the last one is, have you ever traveled? Have you ever been denied a visa? I'm bringing this last because it's so important as the first point I brought about. So, have you ever been denied a visa? Provide they can ask you why were you denied a visa. You have to be there to tell them. It's not that they're gonna deny you this visa. Remember, however much you were selected last year and you are selected this year, they still have the information for last year, even 10 years ago, even before. Even the visas you have been trying to apply and you get to the interview and they deny you, they have those information. Don't think they're gonna deny you because of certain reason they deny you before. This is a different case, but they need you to provide information about yourself. If you have ever been denied, they just need to know that. They need you to be genuine. If you lie, that will bring up questions like this guy is a liar, and they don't want liars. They don't deal with liars. So guys, I'm winding up my video. I wish you all a visa approval, and I wish those who are going to apply in the DV 2025 to get selected. Those I'm going to help, please contact me and we start on the process. I thank you guys for watching. I'm Aaron Intende, and I appreciate you all for watching my video. Please subscribe and share with a friend. I love you guys.